Today we have a special guest, a special Wednesday edition of Tackle Shop Live. Now you guys can hear us, and appreciate you guys stopping in. Sorry about the little snafu we had. Good to go. To my left, my name is Mike Acord. To my left is my partner, the big man, George Acord.
How's everybody doing? Tell about our special guest, Mike.
Yeah, we are having a special edition tonight because of this man to my left over here, Bryan Schmitt from Deal, Maryland. We finally nailed him down, Bryan. Finally nailed you down, bro. Appreciate that.
Guys,
Glad to have you.
Guys, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. We're going to dive into some really cool topics tonight that I'm very, very, what we could say is in love with, I guess. So,
yeah.
No, addicted to.
Addicted in love. We like all those words. And to our far left, down on the end, as always, the cohort, Corbin, CG Gottwalt, is in the house.
Cohort.
Mikey got jokes on a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Yep. So sorry about that introduction the first time around. We are ready to roll now, and we have a couple little things we got to look at here with our introductions and our announcements. So let's check it out here. Announcements. I know everybody hates them, but we got a couple of them. We did set a date for our famous SummerSlam tournament.
It's back, baby.
Yep, our SummerSlam's back. We had to skip it last year because of COVID. You heard of our SummerSlam tournament down in the Bay?
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe he's fished it.
he might have.
Hey, anytime there's a good hunk of prize money on tidal water, and Bryan Schmitt's within a 500-mile radius of that body of water,
He's going to fish it.
you're going to see that Ranger.
Well, this year, SummerSlam's going to be May 23rd, going out of Anchor Marine, back in the back of the Northeast River. So it's a cool tournament. It's a really cool tournament. So what you do is with the SummerSlam is it's a $250 entry fee, but that entry fee is the purchase. This is cool because everybody wins with this tournament. $250 purchase of Shimano G Loomis Jack on Power Pro. So that's a pretty cool deal. You guys just all you have to do is do the purchase that, and that's per boat. That's two people, so it's not $250 per person. It's per boat. So you guys can split that up. And me and George, we wanted to get more people involved with tournament fishing. We wanted everybody to fish a fun tournament, which is this is the funnest tournament of them all. And it takes some of the pressure off because everybody's a winner. Everybody is getting something for the entry fee, and that's really what we were all about, George.
Yeah, I mean, we actually started this tournament in the fall, probably 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was to introduce people to tournament fishing and also hold a quality of event that, hardcore tournament guys would want to participate in. And we think we've got a good blend there. I mean, we've written checks to plenty of guys fishing jet boats, small motors.
We don't care. All you have to do is
Plus,
float.
it's a great location for,
Gotta go there with a jet boat.
oh, well, it's a great location. It's the truth, Corbin.
I know.
mean, we've had, I don't know how many guys cash out of a jet because our location allows you, I mean, you know how it is, Bryan. You can run the whole, on a bad day, you can run the whole Northeast River on a jet boat.
Many times I wish I had one.
Yeah, see? Yeah, but you're sneaky like that.
So it is exactly like that. It's for everybody. As long as you have a good live well. And you guys, anybody doesn't know what they need to fish a tournament, just come into the store or give us a call. We'll explain to you exactly what you need. It's really simple stuff.
Simple.
We'll make sure that you guys come and have a great time. And like I said, everybody wins. So that's the announcements I have. You have one?
I have
George?
one more.
Yeah.
The 5th of June, mark your calendars, is the Ike event.
Was that 1 week after ours or two?
Two.
Could be 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 weeks after our event is the Ike event. I like to bring this up because they're doing great things with their association of, their
Foundation.
Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, foundation.
The word slipped me.
That's all right.
Have you ever fished the Ike
I got
event,
your
Bryan?
back, bro.
I fished it last year. I was impressed with that whole deal there. Like you said, it's more than a tournament. It's for a foundation. It's helping a lot of people out. It was a really cool event.
I like
How'd you do in
the
that tournament?
fact.
Got second.
Did you get
Second? How'd you do in that
Man.
tournament, Corbin?
Well, I ran jet boat all the way.
Oh, whoa,
down
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa!
main
A
river.
couple minutes ago,
we
I
didn't
was
weigh.
we,
We
the
didn't
jet
weigh.
boat was okay, but now it's your
Hey,
it's a.
hey, we didn't weigh, but
That's
I
why you
guarantee
didn't beat Brian because you had a jet
Whoa,
boat.
whoa, whoa! I saw him cut across that flat, and my partner Chris Swear was like, "Man, he knows how to run them flats like I do."
His, his partner I know very well. He's a really, really good angler.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
good.
I'll never forget the Palma's face when I rounded and came into the SAS, and he's like, "You weren't kidding when you said you were coming in there."
Well, I mean, that was one of the tournaments for the books because we came in with like 20 pounds, and it was like, if you don't have 20 a little bit, just throw them back in the water. I'm like, what the heck?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think there was like
That was crazy. Good
20 or
fishing.
30 bags over 20. It was
Well,
off the hook,
Yep.
man.
And when that
can you
something, that was
imagine
absolutely something.
SummerSlam on the 23rd of May?
Mm.
Oh,
That's going to be the old Dirty 30 rolling into the house.
that would be awesome.
And
to
then
see
the
that.
Ike event, June the 5th.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to have it lined up. So mark your calendars. We got 2 great events for you here. And
Yeah.
Mike, let's roll on.
Yeah. So we're gonna get right into it, man. We're not waiting around. We're not gonna talk about anything else. We're getting right into it. Like
We're
I
gonna
said,
talk about something else, but not right now.
well, like I said, we have a special guest with us tonight, Bryan Schmitt, and courtesy of Hayabusa and our friend Kurt Dove set this all up, and appreciate it, Kurt. I know you're watching. Thanks so much. We've been doing all these segments, these spinnerbait segments, chatterbait segments, and when you came in with your swim jig and everything was coming on, we were like, oh, this is going to be a great segment.
Yeah.
Swim jig fishing. So we want to jump right into this, George.
Yes.
We want to get right into
I
this.
have
We
to
want
get
to
my
break it
notebook
all
out here
down.
because there's some things.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you a story quick.
Go ahead.
A few years ago, I was fishing up, I don't know what they called it back then, the Everstart or whatever on the Potomac. And I found these fish over on the Virginia side. And for like 3 days in practice, I kept going back there, which I don't like to do. But this area was this gold mine. And I'm just
Love that.
I'm just like trying to catch a fish.
Love that.
And I can't get away from it. And after my practice session, I'm like, well, I got to go all in here. And I just couldn't crack the code. And the first day of the tournament, I'm over there. I get over there and I get in my spot, and it's over on the Virginia side there, around the Occoquan.
Go ahead. You can say it. You're not fishing any tournaments down anymore.
Well,
Oh, there's
So
the first
I'm in
shot
this big
fired.
bay, right? And I'm struggling in there, and I look out behind me. I just, broke my concentration. I look behind me. Way out there. I'm like, son of a gun. And sure enough, man, at the weigh-in, this guy is dragging a sack of fish up, and I got like 12 pounds. He's got like 19 pounds. And he's out there 300 yards offshore from where I'm at, and I thought I was on the edge. So that's when I said to myself, casting out a swim jig and reeling it back in ain't quite all there is to it. And it's been a while, but I'm excited to find out just what's going on with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Brian, if you could be kind enough
Yeah. So
to bust the
tell
juice
us.
out here.
The thing I want to know with you, Brian, is how did you start with this?
I have a really, really cool story about that, man. So, for about 20 years, I've been really in love with the Potomac River. It's grown a lot, but it's probably 10 or 12 years ago, I was really into, the chatterbait. We used to always throw the rattle trap in the sparse grass, and then it evolved to the chatterbait.
Mhm.
And I was all in on that, and I had, when you fish a lot of local events, you have like a little group of guys, you're fishing against them, but you still kind of talk here and there, like trash talk and stuff like this. And a buddy of mine from Virginia, his name's Bart, he knew I was in the chatterbait, and he had got a swim jig, and he started to play with it, and it was like mind blowing to him. And he gave it to me, and this is the dead honest truth. He said, I want you to go to your best chatterbait spot. I want you to make a pass with your chatterbait. And he said, I want you to turn around and make a pass with this swim jig. And it blew my mind. Okay, because like, you know, I knew there was some fish there, and I caught a few on the chatterbait or whatever. But when I went back through with the swim jig, it was more and bigger. So I was lucky early on to have that happen to me, and I was like, man, I need to apply this everywhere on this Potomac and anywhere I go that has grass. And it just became like a passion, you know, really, really quick. Now I think it was just like they had seen so many chatterbaits, they got used to the noise, the vibration, and this was just a different approach. It was going through the same areas. It was still getting a reaction bite, but it wasn't as aggressive.
Right.
And there for a few years, it really felt like a fish would not let it go by them. If the fish was within like 5 feet, it legitimately felt to me like they would go and get it. And
Wow. Wow.
it was it's still like that at times, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
things evolve, and everybody starts to do stuff, and fish get accustomed, but you know, there's always little tricks to get past that. So
Wait, so there was there a swim jig that you bought to try it, or was it just a jig that you had that you started to throw and fish it that way?
it was a jig that my buddy the guy that gave it to me, Bart, he gave me a few of them. It was a jig that he was getting made,
Oh, okay.
and that he was shown from another friend, you know, and
Right.
we just
Yeah.
stuck with it
Yeah.
forever and ever and ever. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's a great story. I was fishing the Potomac a ton back then myself, and I can kind of relate to it because when I was shown the swim jig, it was like you had the magic. I mean, you could go in and fish grass with a number of other baits, but man, when you rolled that swim jig through there, and if the bite was really good,
Yeah.
it was
special.
it was really good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I don't know about Corbin, but I got to be honest with you. I was a late bloomer with the swim jig thing. It took me a while.
Yeah,
I
same
kept
here.
it a secret from you for a while.
I know. I just. I mean, I saw George doing it, but I just didn't get it, man. I really didn't get it. I guess when I threw it, I just never had success with it.
That's the thing. You got to have that early success.
Yeah.
And then you're done. Like
Yeah.
when you feel the bite and how aggressive it is,
Yeah.
you know, compared to everything else you're throwing, you're like, wow, they really want this.
They eat it.
The
So-
smallmouth out here on the Susquehanna will eat a swim jig as well. Now we got to
Yes.
we got to modify it a little bit. We need a little bit of a lighter wire hook, but where we would throw a spinner bait, and these fish are just pummeled with spinner baits. You can come in there, particularly in May, with a swim jig, and man, is that ever good?
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I'll take you out, Brian, if you want to try that once or twice.
So I guess, Brian, my first question for you is, I mean, we're a Fitzgerald rod dealer,
Yep.
and I mean, they actually built a signature Bryan Schmitt swim jig rod, which I will say, in the couple years that we've been selling Fitzgerald rods, is legitimately, since it came on the market, which I guess your rod's been out for a little over a year now.
Yep.
It's been our best-selling Fitzgerald, over all Fitzgerald rods. It's been our best-selling rod between you and Brian Thrift. That's our best-selling rods. But why, what, where, what's the deal with this rod? Why? I mean, we talked about swim jig rods in here before, and he had an opinion. I had an opinion. Corbin had an opinion.
Yep.
Can you explain to us
Yes.
why that rod is special to you?
So there's so many different ways you could go. You can go, your Florida mindset with braid, heavy duty, throwing it into the real thick stuff, and forcing the fish out on a swim jig. Or you could get to your clear water, deeper, sparse grass with your fluorocarbon and lighter line. So you need a lighter rod for that. And what we try to do is, my passion is the lighter, finessier swim jig. Not necessarily braid, but we wanted to have a rod that you could put fluorocarbon on with a finessier hook swim jig, and really slow down and almost work it as if dragging it sometimes popping it like a jerk bait. But the biggest thing is, with this rod, we wanted to give you a little bit of clearance on the end of the rod. We took an inch off here. So what that does is if you're doing some popping, it's not working your forearm as much. It's not way up your arm. So it's a lot easier to do some little bit of action that we like to do, and swim jigging to get a few extra bites. The tip, very, very forgiving. This is almost, I wanted a rod that was almost similar to a cranking rod that really lets the fish get it. You don't want to pull it away. You don't want too stiff of a rod to pull the jig out of the fish's mouth. A lot of these bites you're going to get, you're going to feel the fish before he actually has it. You feel him behind it. And this rod has a lot of give to it.
So this rod's got that kind of not really.
It's not an extra fast taper at all.
No, it's fast, but it's got some give in the transition area here.
100%. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like you said. It's kind of like a crankbait.
Yep. That's.
But it's light.
Very light.
You can throw it all day. You're not gonna get that shoulder burn at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that makes you want to hunt for your bottle of Advil.
There's a lot of times where I lock this rod in my hand all day,
Yeah.
2 or 3 days in a row, and I'm not feeling it at all.
Yeah. Well, I know when I was messing with it, I noticed the same thing. I noticed because I kind of have like 3,000 rods at my house. You know how that is. And I thought, well, before I go out and buy another rod just for swim jig fishing, I'm going to take that rod, push it on the ceiling, push it on the floor, flip it around a little bit, in here, and see. And then I was going to go home and see if I can find something similar, which I found something similar, but it's not that. That's really tweaked, man.
It is. We put a lot of effort in. Trevor with Fitzgerald Fishing, he's a very big fisherman himself.
Yeah, he was an elite angler.
Yep. He's won some Opens. He's won some Toyota Series now, or they used to be Costa Everstarts. He's very talented. We put our heads together.
Everstart back in my day.
Everstart back in the day. I did fish a few of them too. But
oh, I know. I know 2 of them that you fished. I watched you carry trophies home from 2 of them.
But man, we put our heads together. We tried to come up with a rod that was a guy would pick it up and say, you know what, that is a bad to the bone swim jig rod, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah,
big time.
You should be. It's right.
I'm just saying from the product side of things. We've sold a lot of them. I'm literally telling you, I've never heard anybody anywhere in this country contact us and say, you know what, I'm not happy with that rod.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we get phone calls like that on products that aren't legit. I mean, there's, believe it or not, shocker, there are a few companies that might just throw something out there every now and again to get your hard-earned. I really think this is a legitimate. I love the hook keeper.
That's the reason I kind of
little
brought
things like that.
That's the reason I kind of brought.
I mean, it's just the guide train, and it's just a nice rod.
That was the main reason I kind of said that way, because it is tweaked. It's a rod that was well thought out, and you can see that when you start thinking about what you're doing with it and how you're fishing it, and which we're going to get into like right now. It is definitely a different type of rod than a lot of what's out there. So, and I got one that I would use last year that was close, and it worked okay. But that thing there, I understand that I just can't match it with anything else. So this is something special.
Well, do me a favor, Mike, and get a blank sheet of paper here.
Yeah.
And you see where it says notes?
Yeah.
Make you some notes, because you haven't shown me much on swim jigging yet. So make a few notes there and pay attention. Because the next thing we're going to talk about
it hurts.
is the gear ratio of the reel. Brian, we are asked a lot of questions, and Corbin is he's like real
detail
technical, on the gear ratios. And we are asked from customers in here all the time. Gear ratio, I think, has been blown out of proportion myself. I don't know how you feel about it, because we literally
similar to you. Yes,
I mean, we didn't talk about this before we got started here. What is your feeling on a gear ratio for a swim jig rod?
I'm 7-to-1, 7-3-to-1. That all day, every day.
Write that down, Mike.
I've thought of going to a slower ratio, but you gotta understand, a lot of these bites, they hit and they run at you. You have to be able to pick up line. I can discipline myself to slow down, turning the handle. That's all it is. And then guess what? I have the speed when I need it. So I'm very simple and straightforward with that. I've never changed. I've found success with it early, and I've stuck with
Yeah.
That's
That's a
bottom
good.
line.
That's a good gear ratio. I know I like that gear ratio. I know
Yeah.
you like that gear ratio.
You know, that's the thing. Because every hit you just said it, every hit I've ever had with those things, it's like boom, slack line coming right at you.
and
It's
there's
really weird.
weird bites sometimes,
Yeah.
but they have it so deep.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like,
weird.
or your line's just limp. Like, you're like, wait,
Yeah.
oh,
You know what's going on. It's like it takes you a second, and you're right. You need a little bit of faster
you
reel.
have to.
It's and I think it's easy to fish a 7.3 with a swim jig and slow it down. I think it's easy to do that with the swim jig. Where some things it's harder to do, but
Correct.
with a swim jig, it's kind of easy to do. You get that real nice because it's based on feel and you're feeling that kind of stuff. So I agree with that too. I'm big on that. The second part of that is I think goes right along with that is when are you going to throw fluorocarbon? Because we're going to stay with the rod and reel and kind of gear right here.
Yeah.
When are you going to throw fluorocarbon and when are you going to throw braid? And let's break that down and pound tests. And do you change the pound test in each one of those categories for different bodies of water?
So this is this is how simple this is. Anytime I've fished in this area, any tournament that I've done on any tidal water, it is the exact same setup. It's 15-pound ultimate fluorocarbon from P-Line, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't changed that. I've gone to New York doing it. I've gone to Florida doing it. I've gotten in trouble a couple times or close to getting in trouble in Florida by using that. But I know I got a lot more bites than other guys around me. But my whole setup is based on more open water. There is
Mhm.
times where I have, got into junk per se and put 40-pound braid on.
Right.
But that's only Florida. Any other time, it's 15-pound fluorocarbon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
no braid, braid, not at all. Just in those
Never.
couple
Never.
situations.
Just
Wow.
anytime here,
Wow.
it's always fluorocarbon.
Wow.
Yes, sir. I mean,
15-pound at that.
7.
That's
I've
not-
had some nice fish. and
15 fluorocarbon strong, man.
strong.
It is
It
strong.
is. Obviously, I'm checking my line.
Yeah.
But I'm not whacking them. It's not like a flipping a jig hook set. I'm reeling into them. My jig design and everything is based on, almost if they bite it, they're hooked.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a crankbait hook set. I'm just pulling into them.
Yeah.
And the 15
That's how your
bifold
rod's set up too.
rod set up, the whole
Yeah.
system.
Well, speaking of jigs, I'm excited about this jig.
Oh man.
Me too.
The first I saw it was today, and
Yeah, Corbin's been over there drooling all over the counter, man. He's like,
Brian, you brought 6 in. You're probably only taking 4 out. I don't know where the other 2 went, but
I'm leaving for Florida in the morning. I need them.
yeah, he needs we didn't get a chance to see him. We saw him like on online, and we didn't get our batch early.
our batch is
Yeah,
being shipped tomorrow.
yeah,
So, I mean, tomorrow's what, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're probably realistically looking at Monday
yeah.
time frame.
Monday, Tuesday, something like that.
And our batch is going to be healthy.
It's a big
healthy
It's a
batch.
big wad of jigs, but when I first saw it tonight and I took it out of that pack, I was really shocked by the head. It is a really stealthy, big head. It's a big head, bigger than I thought it would be. So tell us about what that is about and why they call that, the little Schmitty.
It's thin. Yeah, break that down for us, Brian, would you?
Yeah,
All right, so here's the bottom line. So this jig, we have thought of everything possible to make a good swim jig for my application, which I like to fish it slow, deeper in the water column, finessier kind of deal here. So when you get your hands on it, you're going to see the head design. It's a very arrow pointed head.
yeah,
It's streamlined to the actual hook, the line ties. So what happens is this gets you through grass really, really easy, gets you through pads, stuff like that. That's just going to slide through there. You got, the line tie, everything's streamlined.
So the line tie is a big deal. The way that thing's in there.
Yes, sir.
So is it at a certain angle? We working with a certain angle on that too?
We've had to play with the angle just a piece to get it to where it swims perfectly at a low low
Yeah.
retrieve.
Yeah.
But it's where it needs to be right now. You dive into the eyes of this. We have a special reflective eyes that bulge out of the head. This is another thing. How can you make a jig better? Well, years ago, a guy gave me some rockfish baits to use trolling, okay?
Yeah.
And he gave me a bunch of jig heads, and they had giant bulging marble eyes. And you're like, man, I'm not.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
Wow.
Well, something that simple, we put out, put a shad on it, and it was night and day. Well, what happens is when that jig head's swimming, the light is reflecting from
Ah.
every angle off that eye.
Wow. Yeah.
Brought it to this jig. So you're going to get light reflection. You'll notice when you're swimming in the water, you're getting a light reflection. If the fish is below it, he's getting a little bit of reflection. It's an added attractant. So that's, just a small little detail like that could be a huge thing. When you get into areas that get a lot of swim jig, a lot of chatterbait, stuff like that, a little something different is going to get you a few more bites. For
Yeah.
sure.
Wow. That's really cool. I never thought of the eyes.
Yes.
I mean, you always think of the eyes, and most of them fall out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're fishing it for a while, they fall out,
it's a big deal.
and they're always concave, like back on the inside, push back in and all that. So,
Tight skirt.
oh,
So, we have a hand tied. Everything's hand tied, well hand tied, by the way. We got a very finessey fiber weed guard, just enough strands to keep you out of the grass.
Thinned out.
Thinned out. Once again, you're not setting the hook hard. They bite it, they're hooked.
Yeah.
Or fishing a boat.
yeah, and I'm also noticing the hook. It's like a crappy hook.
No. That's a 4-aught. That's
I
a
mean-
4-aught.
I mean, you look at all these hooks out there. I mean, these big, giant, round wire, giant hooks. I mean,
I would say that Greg Hackney is not going to approve of that hook, Brian.
He just bought 7. Never mind.
I don't know. That's a nice hook.
That
That's,
is.
But
I
it's,
guess
yeah,
that's
my point was it's thinner. It's a
basically
thinner well.
It's basically a round bend hook,
Yes, sir.
and it doesn't have much flex to it.
Look, this hook
love
that
the
we have,
keeper.
it's a finessey profile. It's a finessey style jig. But that hook, I promise you, will pull in a 5 to 8 pound fish. No problem. It's not going to bend out.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I was gonna call in and have Kurt Dove call in and talk about the company Hayabusa with the hooks. What's your take on Hayabusa? What do you know? What is it about this company?
I've been very good friends with Kurt Dove for many years. I've been with Hayabusa since he pretty much got started with them. And the major thing with them you got to remember is they're from Japan, and it's quality over everything. So
Yeah,
this jig took us a while to get here because every little detail had to be, we had to go over nonstop. Okay, how can we do this? How can we make that better? So quality is the biggest thing I would associate with Hayabusa.
Yeah, the other thing that's impressive in this era that we're in for the last year with COVID, a lot of companies in the world, in all industries, but in our tackle world, as you all know, tackle has been hard to get, and Hayabusa for Susquehanna Fishing Tackle has filled our orders unbelievably well and quick. So they have a great ability with that. And I noticed that from the time they talk to us about a concept of a new hook to the time it's on the market, that's quick.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I've also noticed with Hayabusa, it's just the quality, the sharpness.
Yeah.
The coatings, the coatings on the hooks, that slippery,
yeah,
rust proof. Just
Yeah.
I'm really digging Hayabusa, and I'll tell you, Brian, Hayabusa. When you come into a shop like ours, you're gonna see a pretty serious hook selection.
Yes, sir.
And Gamakatsu, I mean they're big.
they're monster.
Owner,
Mhm.
Mustad. Eagle Claw. So for a company to come in late, like Hayabusa, they've only
Yeah.
been in our shop for 3 or 4 years at the most.
Yeah.
For them to come in and carve out the niche that they've carved out in here, and
Yeah.
their sales are doubling every year with us.
Yeah.
You know, it speaks for the product, and I'm thinking this jig is gonna live right up to
Yeah.
To that. I know one thing.
Yeah.
I love that hook.
No, I just
I
think it's
love
great.
that hook.
Yeah,
That-
me
that-
too.
The
that's
next
Yeah.
time we're fishing that bay over there, I'm gonna have this jig. So you better watch yourself.
Hey, Brian, you might want to watch those jigs on there. George has been known to cut things off of people's rods and say, "Oh, let me take a look at it." And
Oh, he
then-
does that too?
And then drive
Yeah.
away. He did that with our buddy Spinnerbait. And that
I
day.
won't do it to you, Brian.
Okay,
You're
okay.
going. You're hitting
Well,
the road.
These are rigged and ready for Florida.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
hitting the road. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. The three of us, we're the closest we're going to get to the waters when we drive over the bridge for the next couple of weeks, because we are in, kind of busy mode right now. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I wouldn't take one of your precious Florida jigs.
Well, Brian, we always have a lot
Or
of
would I?
great people checking in with us, and I always like to give a shout out to everybody. Mark's here. Mark's a great customer of ours. He's checking in. Russell Fuller, how you doing? Adam Smith, how you doing, Adam? He's a hammer dog too. That guy catches them.
watching from Australia.
Yeah, we
Wow.
got a guy from Australia checking in. Ben Buck Hunter, he's here every week.
Ben Buckhunter.
Ben Buck
Ben
Hunter.
Buck Hunter. Well, you know what he's doing?
He's one you want to talk
He's
to.
sharpening
sometime.
his swim jigs right now for that May 23rd SummerSlam date.
David, how you doing?
Already booked the hotel
Jacob,
room.
what's going on? You ever get back to a Chatterbait? So some questions are coming in, and Andre, who is with us every week, he stops in, and matter of fact, he won one of our prizes. He's asking, do you ever go back to a Chatterbait if the swim bait isn't working?
100%. That's a really good question. That happens a lot. So the main factor with that would be kind of water clarity. So, you get in some situations where you get a little too off color of water, a little bit of mud came into your area. Well, they might not have left, but they need a little more vibration.
Yeah.
And a swim jig's just not going to get you that in
Yeah.
dirty water. So I'll switch right over.
Yeah,
to
there's-
Well, and I want to ask a question, Mike, on that.
Yeah.
On the Chatterbait. Well, I want to put you on the spot. What is your favorite? Because we just had our Chatterbait show not too long ago.
Yep.
What's your favorite Chatterbait? I mean, if you can only
Setup.
have one Chatterbait.
I mean,
Color, weight, brand. I mean, don't
trailer.
hold back now.
Trailer.
3/8 ounce black and blue jackhammer.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.
Before that, it was
Black
a
and blue.
3/8 ounce, the original.
Old
Original.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
Yeah.
caught a lot of fish on the old school before the jackhammer came
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now it's like if you throw that on, it's like,
People look at you funny, man.
well, no, you have no confidence. It's crazy.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Still works though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Here we got a guy, Ricky Mummert,
yeah, Ricky.
who's a big fan of the swim jig rod from Fitzgerald.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks everybody so much for stopping in. We got a really big crowd tonight, which is great to see. I knew it was going to happen having you here, bro.
Yeah.
Glad
I
to
mean,
be here.
this is probably one of our biggest shows ever.
Okay.
We're getting some great coverage. Thank you guys so much for stopping in tonight. We still got a ton of stuff to go over.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't mind, just hit your share button down there and get some more people involved. And like us on Facebook and just hit that share button. Let's get some more people in here so they don't miss out on this great information. I know some of you're probably worried about your competition, but come on, we got to share old Brian here. So moving on, from staying with the jig, but now we're talking about skirt color.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of this jig, George, as a tackle shop owner,
Well,
it's 5 colors.
5 colors.
and the other thing I like
I
about
love
it,
it.
Mike, is as a fisherman,
Simple.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walk in and you walk up to you're like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, I see it in
Sometimes
here
there's
every
too
day.
many.
It's too much.
So
So
what
what's
was
your-
the
what's your
thought
motivation
process?
here?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, for little rewind, Kurt Dove, this is not only my baby, but this is Kurt Dove's baby as well. You put a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of process on his part into this as well. And we collaborated and we thought, you know, hey, let's start 5 colors, man. You know, let's keep it simple. We don't need to go crazy. You need a white, you know, so
Yeah.
you got it. We call it natural. You know, you got to have purple. You know, this is called the OG.
Wait. You gotta have purple.
I never heard of a purple
I
swim
mean,
jig in my life.
Can we go into that a little bit, Brian?
So you know, you got to.
You might want to just gloss over that one.
I might have a special place
Yeah.
in my heart with this. So purple has been very, very
Way out
good
there
to
in the
me.
middle.
Yeah.
You know,
On the
there's-
main river of every river.
you got to have a purple. You know, you got to have black and blue.
Oh,
Hands
yeah.
down, got to have a black and blue. You know, we got a green pumpkin, and we got a watermelon. Okay, and we contrasted every color with a little bit of mylar, and that just gives it a little bit of flash. You know, a little extra.
that is
Little
nice.
extra.
That's
Long
you don't see that. That's different.
That's different. And this is something that I've, you know, been playing with for years.
That's
And
nice.
it's just, I would say that that's going to get you a few extra bites for sure. So this jig out the pack is legitimately ready to go, has any little extra thing that we could make a swim jig better. As a double bait keeper, you don't go through as many
Like the keeper.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
trailers throughout
Yeah.
the day. Hey, you getting some good action. The tide just got right.
Yeah.
You're not digging your box or another trailer as much.
Yeah.
So like I said, any little thing that can help you swim jigging is in this jig. It's ready to go.
Yep. And so even say sunny days, somewhat clear water, grass fishing, you know, are you messing around with color?
So hands down, for many years, I would pick one up. I would pick a purple jig up. There was something about that color that just worked. I don't care, sunny, cloudy,
Yeah.
rainy, windy, clear water, a little stain. It's some
Some-
contrast that they really attacked. And
Yeah.
Is that the purple or is that the black and blue?
that's the black and blue.
okay. So because the black and blue has a little bit of purple in it.
It's almost like a June bugish kind of like
The purple is.
Yeah.
the tinsel, I think.
What do you call that purple one?
the OG.
The OG.
OG.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
Take that one up to the camera there, Corbin, if you would be so kind.
It might get lost on the way back.
You know, but there is times where I have seen where they get hard up on bluegills.
Mhm.
You know, and that's when your watermelon and your green pumpkin really
Okay.
shine.
Okay.
And there's times where you got a shad spawn situation, you cannot beat a white jig.
No.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, black and blue, purple, these, you know, stained, little bit off color, you know, even the clear water. But when you get in that little, you got to give them a little more natural
Mhm.
presentation, green pumpkin, watermelon. So
Yeah.
we made it simple. You know, this should cover everybody,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everything you want to do. You don't
It
have
really
to go
does.
crazy. What you could do,
The tinsel's nice.
the tinsel's
like that.
nice. The tinsel's a major attractant. But what you could do, guys, you take these 5 colors, you change your trailer colors. Okay? You could play with that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you have your base. You have your main bases covered.
Yeah.
We talked
Yep.
about that last week with guys getting into spinnerbait fishing because, you know,
Yeah.
spinnerbait fishing guys like myself, we had 2 of my big wraps here with 7,000 spinnerbaits in it. But
It gets out of
it's-
control.
well, we collect them over the years. You know how that is. But
Yeah.
for a guy getting into it, he can have 3 or 4 spinnerbaits and 4 or 5 trailers
And mix and match.
and mix and match and really change the whole profile of the bait.
We wanted to come out with 5 colors that work. So guys aren't, hey man, I couldn't get any bites. Like, these are going to catch you bass. That way you can get your confidence going.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
these work everywhere.
I freaking love that.
Mhm.
Take
I love
notes,
that, George.
Mikey.
Oh,
Huh?
We gonna be taking notes and using these.
Yeah,
this
this
year.
I'm
is-
telling you, bro.
I mean,
that 5 jig thing for the I just love that.
Simple.
well,
I love it.
Take the guesswork out of it, bro.
guys, I just have to jump in here on this jig. I mean, the sales pitch is coming. You know, I'm just telling you, as a tackle guy. I mean, we sell a ton of swim jigs here from a ton of awesome brands. This is as good as it gets, and you can pre-order them if you like. We have our web pages are built. You can jump on there. You can put your order in. we're going to have these jigs in early next week, and all these orders are going to ship.
Yeah.
This jig is legit.
So the first round of these, Brian, tell us about this, and it was like unbelievable.
So here's how this. I'm gonna shoot everybody straight.
Yeah.
You know, Hayabusa's been around for a while, but they are no means have they been around at a big, you know, Gamakatsu level. We are building that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is, with a new product, a company just can't order 500,000, you know, jigs.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to test it.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna sell.
Yeah.
Kurt Dove knew it was going to sell, but we had to test it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had to bring it here and see how the initial sales went, and it went very well. They're gone. Whatever came is gone.
It was instantaneous, and not everybody got them. You know,
Not
not
everybody
everybody got them, and they came in and they went out right away. And me and George was sleeping at the wheel. I mean, fell asleep on that one, bro.
So, like you said, you know,
wait on
another,
Monday. I'll show you how I fell asleep.
I guess the Hayabusa tractor trailer showing up just like the
Yeah.
Shimano
Kurt
one
Dove's
has
going to be
previously.
driving it.
So what?
I'd
you
love
know,
to see Kurt again. He's a great dude, man.
Yeah.
It was cool when he was here.
Oh, he's a cool dude. Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was me and Kurt were talking to, you know, work out a date, and your schedule's tight, so we were trying to work around that. And this was really the only day we could do it. And Kurt said that, listen, the jigs are coming in this week, and right away I'm like, oh, forget that. He says, well, no, they're going to come in like on Monday, and we'll get them to you. I'm like, yeah, right. This because it never works. It never. There's always a day or two that's taken up.
Especially when you throw COVID in the mix.
I could just
So
imagine.
anyway, like George said, we're going to have these jigs. We're going to have a ton
Probably
of these
Monday.
jigs, but
Yeah.
it is going to be crazy with these jigs. People are already talking about them. There's already this built up thing going on. You guys know how it is. It's coming. It's going to come with this jig. So
Get them.
our pages are built. They're turned on right now. You can go on there and you can buy them right now. They're going to be here next week, so we're going to ship them next week. I know guys don't like to purchase where it says back ordered, but this is like those flatworms. If you don't get in line,
You don't get no
I
flatworms.
talked to Kurt today. They are on their way.
yeah,
You know,
they're
and-
definitely coming.
Yeah, I talked to him today. He said, look, all your jigs are shipping probably tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you'll have them either Friday or Monday. So
Yes.
we're good with that.
The
This
jigs
is
are-
going to be the only place, I would say, in a large area that you could actually come and put your hands on them, too.
Touchy feely, yeah,
Yes, so
touchy
for
feely.
a hot minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's stay with this jig, George, because
Yeah,
what's
so-
a big part of the jig?
Well, you know, we talked about a lot of facets of this thing so far, and Brian alluded to why he only has 5 colors, and it's a trailer. So, Brian, if we could impose upon you a little bit more, well, actually, it's going to be a lot more.
Oh,
but
no.
I'm going to make it sound good.
I already told him we're going to
Um,
clean.
Trailers, because I learned, and I know Corbin has brought it up in past shows, like for a chatterbait, for example. Sometimes on a chatterbait, the difference between a twin tail versus a boot foot
Big time.
is night and day. And what's your take on the trailer on the swim jig? If you could kind of break that up for us a little bit.
So that is absolutely the same thing with a swim jig. So once again, my passion is to work it slower, deeper vegetation. This is grass you can't see. Okay, we're on the Potomac, and there's a massive grass bed that's matted up. I'm going to the outer realm. I'm trying to find a couple isolated clumps that you can't see. I want to get my jig down, work it slow. I make a cast, I let it hit the bottom. I'm slowly reeling it. So with that being said, I need a trailer that doesn't, pull back on the water. It allows it to get deeper. So the twin turbo from Missile is a perfect twin tail. It's crawfish imitating, but it's not too abrasive. So it allows me to get down a lot deeper, a lot quicker. So, I can really, really work it slow, and the tails are still moving really
Yeah.
good. That's a
They're
real
thin tails.
very thin, which
Yep.
is a big deal. Slow and low, it's still
Yeah.
the twin turbo's still doing its job. Okay, so you can go with the twin tail or the single paddle tail like we were speaking of. And okay, are they on crayfish or are they on shad and bluegill? That's a big thing right there. So You know, when I feel like they're on crayfish, I want a twin tail, something resembling, you know, a crawfish, you know, the way a crawfish swims, you know, crawl father from Missile, twin turbo from Missile. When I feel like they're on bait fish, I'm a Shockwave. Okay, it's a swim bait trailer from Missile Baits. I play with the colors. Big deal is, hey, we catch a couple bass, we see, hey, there's a shad sticking in his throat. I'm trying to imitate that, or there's a bluegill, or there's a crayfish. You got to kind of let the fish tell you what they're eating, and then you try to, you know, match that. And that's where you just play with your trailer colors. But definitely, I'm probably going to start with the twin tail to begin.
And
for
you
sure.
can contrast, those colors with your jigs. You know, like if you get all of a sudden a really, you know, you were catching your fish in sunny day, clear water with a natural, like watermelony looking trailer on your watermelon colored jig, and then all of a sudden you get this big, next day you get up and the big storm clouds are up in there, and it's gray and the light level's low. You could just change up that trailer a little bit, right?
Big time. Yep. You don't have to change the jig.
It's a kind of a crapshoot, but you can change it up.
100%. You can play with those colors on there, get some contrast. That always helps as well.
Now, Brian, do you do the same thing for the Chatterbait? Would you use those same trailers on the Chatterbait as you do the Swim Jig, or do you change that up a little bit?
I changed that up a little bit. So the twin turbo for me is more of a jig trailer. The Crawl Father works phenomenal on a Chatterbait, and as well as the Shockwave. You know, those would be my two right there.
Yep. So Daniel Adams is listening on his way heading to Jersey. So how you doing, Daniel? Keep two hands on the wheel and drive fast and take chances, bro.
11-1.
And tackle shop on the radio,
11-1.
Yeah.
Two hands on the wheel, tackle shop on the radio.
Yeah, bro.
Don't be the first person at a red light.
David Schodemeyer, how you doing, buddy? Rick Maffau, how you doing, Rick? He says we don't want to get that jig out there because he's
That's my buddy right there.
Well, you know, he's coming down. He might be in that derby that you're going down there to fish.
Oh, he might. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I just saw him in here the other day. He was getting his hook sharpened.
He's going to Florida, but he's fishing a different event.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bruce Jones is here stopping in. How you doing, Bruce? George, how you doing? Brian Edmonds, what's up? Bruce Jones. There's a fellow here asking about. He's wondering if you still miss your green nitro. Who's this guy? Somebody. Mark Snyder.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The old green sled.
The old green sled. Yeah. So yeah, George, there you go. We talked about your trailers for you. Hope you got the information there. That's really good about slowing down and letting it get deep and all good stuff right there. Oops. George touched something here.
We got a problem.
George touched it.
It's all good.
John Warwick, how are you, buddy? Danny Powell. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. These are great. It's great to have you guys here.
Yeah, guys, if you could do us a solid and like and share, and if you happen to get onto the YouTube channel, if you could like and share that would really help that would really help the cause.
Yep. And here's a guy right here, Charlie Small. Charlie, how you doing, Charlie? Charlie's been tournament fishing forever. He's been a customer of ours for 32 years.
32 years.
And
that's longer than I've been alive.
He's, I mean, I'm not going to say how old he is, but
he's at least 32.
He's at least 32.
Okay.
But Charlie is hardcore at it still at his age, man. He is awesome. A hammer dog. Nothing slows him down. He flat out catches him too, man. Good. Thanks for stopping by, Charlie.
I mean, Charlie's a little older than 32, and Charlie fishes more in the winter than most people fish in the summer.
Yeah.
I like it.
He's hardcore, man.
Hardcore. I mean, like, gotta go.
George.
And I know you can relate.
Shart, how are you,
yes,
buddy?
Sir.
So Mike Barr, he's stopping in, and I'm just looking for some questions here real quick. Kind of going through them.
Ben Buckhunter had a question. Scroll up a little bit.
Right here's one right here from Brian Setlock.
Brian Setlock.
Brian's stopping in. He's like, what water temperature do you start throwing
That's a
swim
great jig. Or great
Question.
question.
It's a great
Very,
jig, too.
very
It's
good.
a great jig
It's a great
and a
jig
great
too,
question.
George. Yeah.
So I firmly believe you need 50. Okay, you know, at least 50. I want them to start to get out. They definitely have to be out of their winter, you know, their winter deal, their winter pattern. They start to think springtime. The fish are starting to think shallow. You know, you start to hear the frogs chirping. You know, when you
Yeah.
go, when you guys go down to Smallwood in March, you start to hear the day you start to hear that, you could start
The
throwing a swim-
peepers.
the peepers.
Yep.
Yep. So
Ah.
it has to get a little bit spring oriented,
Okay.
and then it's
All right.
pretty much, I would say,
Rest of the year?
rest of the year. You know, November probably put it away.
Okay. All right. Well, Ben Buckhunter's wondering, does the D-bomb work as a swim jig trailer?
It definitely can. It definitely could. Okay. I don't. It's for my technique. I would have to cut the D-bomb sides down a little bit. Okay. I want a more streamlined trailer for my specific technique to get it down in the water column. But the tail action would work for sure.
Yeah.
So Brian, since you want it down in the water column, are you starting with your 1/2 ounce or are you using 3/8 majority of the time?
So 4 foot or less, 3/8, 4 foot and deeper, 1/2 ounce.
Okay.
That's my rule of thumb. And you know, I've fished the half all the way out to 12 foot at times.
Yeah.
4 foot and less, 3/8. 4 foot and deeper, 1/2 ounce.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
So
Yes, sir.
to go along with that, Leland Hansford, who's a big hammer dog over there in York, fishing a real clear lake and bunch of grass. He's wondering, deepest you'll throw it swim jig in.
I've done very well 12 foot a couple of times at Chickamauga. You know, before they really get out on the ledges, I'm fishing some deeper grass that's, you know, 2 or 3 foot tall and 10 to 12 foot of water.
Oh yeah.
And it's deadly. You know, with the
Oh.
fluorocarbon, the 1/2 ounce, you let it get down, let
Yeah.
it sink, and slowly creep it. It's a presentation they haven't seen. I've done it at Champlain. I've done it, you know, all your northern lakes, deep grass.
Yeah. Great question there, Leland. Thanks, bud. Tom Wood, you got your question answered already with the head size. He just went over the 1/2 ounce and the 3/8. John Wernick is wondering, do you have a preference for smallmouth or largemouth with the swim jig? And is it a smallmouth gig for you?
So what's really cool, it definitely catches a smallmouth. I'm personally gonna try to target largemouth, but believe me, if a 4-pound smallmouth grabs it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be upset. I'll put him in a live well too, but it's gonna be a largemouth deal for me first.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there's a guy here we were talking about your rod and what's the rod model of that?
This is the Fitzgerald. It's a signature model. It's
7-to-1 medium heavy,
7-1 medium heavy.
Bryan
Bryan
Schmitt.
Schmitt
Bryan Schmitt swim jig rod.
signature edition.
Yep.
Yep. And,
There's
and,
only one.
And if you guys scroll up on the chat there, Caitlin put on the link there. You can check it out there. So that was one of the questions there.
What's
I got a question
What's
for Brian.
BTC asking? Why is BTC asking Brian the Carpenter? Why is he asking if you're fishing the SummerSlam? Is he like, are you like flexing in front of the mirror right now?
Don't
Getting all
start,
worked
Brian.
up or what?
Don't start.
I mean, you know, calm down. It's January, brother.
Well, Brandon is wondering. So your hook sets, you know, and this kind of goes along with the way you built the rod. I mean, are you going all Bill Dance or on the boats, or are you doing a sweep set?
It's a sweep set. It's a reel into them and pull. It is not it's not a hook set.
Yeah.
I must, you know, stress that a lot here. So you're gonna get a lot more fish by doing this too, because we get so sensitive with the fluorocarbon and everything like that. We could feel this fish a lot of times before he has it. So you just gotta reel into them or wait till you feel them and just pull. You know, it's
Yeah.
not your normal hook set.
Yeah.
It's something you gotta play with for sure, but it's gonna help you.
And they're eating the jig, so I mean, it's not like they're just biting it; they're eating it.
Correct.
Yeah. So Yeah, great question there. That was an awesome one.
Yeah, the
Donald,
questions are great.
Donald is asking about our fishing license machine. No, Donald, it's not up. I am so sick of that company right now. It's going to
That's not
be
quite swim jig related.
no, but we,
Well,
we answer them
Unless
all,
you're
buddy.
putting your fishing license on your swim jig.
We
as a
answer
trailer.
them all.
So,
We answer them all. That's all good stuff right
yeah,
there.
let's get back on point.
You must. You put a lot of scent on your jigs when you're fishing.
I do not.
That's Danny Rodriguez asking that question.
I do not, Mr. Danny. We've talked about this as well, but I don't. You know, Missile has your scent covered. Okay, so I don't add anything to that. I don't want to mess up what we got going there at all. And you know, I might play with dyes a little bit, but
and they might have a scent.
They might have a little scent,
Yep.
sometimes unscented, but that's not a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So,
So
Brian,
go ahead there, Corbin.
you run a lot of Garmin units, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're talking like shallow water swim jig fishing. How does the Panoptics work out with fishing grass with the swim jig? Like, can you
Actually have to ask.
kind of talk a little bit about that? Because I think your old boat had 5 units on it or something like that. And you know, if you could like, because I know that obviously with electronics and you fish saltwater, freshwater a lot. So can you kind of like break that down a little bit for the people out there listening as well?
I haven't found a unit better than Garmin for being able to get on pad 30, 40 miles per hour and 2 to 4 foot and comb areas over 34, 40 mile per hour looking for grass. And I'll mark the grass, okay? Now I got a really good outlook on my GPS of, okay, this whole bed is, you know, right here. And then now I want to fish it. Well, the key is you don't want to, we used to be able to just get right in the grass, okay, you know, and we're bobbing around, our trolling motor's going, but these fish are getting smarter and smarter. So the
pressured more.
pressure.
Yeah.
So the Livescope from Garmin really, really helps there because now I'm able to see that clump or that grass line out in front of my boat, 70, 80 feet away. So I can work that without those fish knowing I'm there, which is a big thing. And there's been times in Florida where I'm fishing 7, 8 foot, 9 foot of grass just to see life. Okay. You know, we all want life, you know, anytime you're fishing, even if there's catfish or there's bait, but that shows you there's life there. So seeing that on your Livescope's a big thing.
That's
too.
important. I mean,
Very important.
You got to have, we always talk about that, you know, a lot of times these depth finders, guys are looking for fish. We're looking for bait, man. We're looking for something that they're
habitat,
gonna, you know, habitat and bait, you know, that's what, for us, you know, that's the big thing.
You know, sometimes, you know, the way we watch the Elite Series on TV and the way we read, you know, constantly articles and watch video shows. I mean, there's just so much data out there for us. And if you're a total freaked out bass junkie like me, there's not enough. Yeah. But, you know, the thing with the electronics of just thinking that you just turn your graph on and just drive around and say, oh, whoa, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can mark fish and you do mark fish, but like when you see those screenshots that are posted in the Garmin catalog, that didn't happen like that. You know, that's like my man put a waypoint down there and went to work. You know, so
100%.
Your electronics for finding your habitat and your bait you're going to find that a lot more than you're going to find the glory number of fish swimming around on that screen. Now, since we did kind of morph off into electronics for a second, I have a real simple question for you because I'm a Garmin kind of a fan. Which head unit are you running your Panoptics on? Is it one of their bigger like saltwater units, or are you running it on like the standard, like the UHD or whatever they call it?
The standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the same unit that I can go out and buy for
100%.
$900.
Yes, sir.
Because that's a great unit.
100%.
Yes, thank you. Because that's the unit that we've been selling a lot of here.
Well, you know, since Corbin breached this, and you kind of touched on it, what you know, and George is kind of, I think, alluding to it with this electronics stuff, and all the people who are saying, man, you know, how much is enough? What's enough? Are you that guy? Are you that guy? Or I mean, are you the guy that says, well, it's available, I'm going to use it?
Hands down, if you're fishing these tournaments and there's a deal that you can do, you better do it. So if it's there to be had, I have to use it. And I'm thankful that Garmin's there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with Garmin and they have
Yeah.
the deal.
Yeah.
So
Oh, their
you know,
units are amazing.
amazing. And here's a little interesting thing. So there's in the saltwater, there's a transducer these guys are doing in these ocean tournaments that could see a mile out. Okay, they
Wow.
do these tournaments. They have a guy that straight operates that. He drops it in the water. It can see one marlin a mile away.
That's
And
an expensive transducer.
So there's ways it could get more crazy. So I think there has to be some kind of limit soon to where it could get just too crazy, you know. But the fish find a way to protect themselves. So real quick story. We're at Lake St. Clair this year fishing a smallmouth derby. And, you know, we're all 14 to 20 foot deep, you know, just drifting around. Well, you got to idle and find these fish, right?
Yeah.
So you're thinking you're going to idle around and start to see some. The fish have gotten so smart that you cannot idle them. They spook before you can get your sonar to hit them.
Yeah.
They hear your motor. The minute you put your trolling motor down and give it a few minutes, start trolling around, you start to see fish. So think about that. You know,
Yeah.
you get into shallow grass, think how much that could affect them.
Yeah.
So
That's how our river fish are. I mean, you know, years ago, actually,
Yeah.
you know, before we had spot lock trolling motors and before we had power poles, you know, our river fish in the spring, particularly when the river was high enough that everybody could go out and fish, the pressure on the grass beds and the obvious cover was to the point that, you know, I remember Mike telling me stories of some of his guide trips where he would pull up on an area that he knew was holding fish and he'd anchor his boat. And then he'd tell the guys to pour coffee and relax for a few minutes. And like 15 minutes later, they'd catch 20 fish off of a spot that they would have caught one off of.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Because those fish, you know, speed or sound travels in water like 6 times more efficiently than it does in air. So
Right.
when you drop your, you know, your hatch lid on your boat and you hear that fish that's 600 yards out in front of you that you haven't even gotten to his piece of cover yet, he heard that too.
His
Well,
alarm
yeah.
has been sounded.
And
His
those fish,
alarm has been sounded.
the fish are there. The fish are there for a reason. So if you just give them that moment, they're going to come back.
Very good point.
You know, they're going to come back, and that's what I've always said. You know, these are spots where, you know, if there's fish there and you spook them away, if you just hang out, man, they're going to come back. They're there for a reason. There's whatever that reason is. You know, they're going to come back. So, but stealthiness will absolutely help you.
They
with
react. They react to the here and now.
That. Yeah.
I mean, a bird flying overhead. I mean, slamming your locker. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and then just chill out for a minute or 5,
Well,
and then it's game back on again.
well, more kind of morphing back into this jig thing because I'm not done picking his brain.
Me neither.
Me
I have
I got some.
I have
things, man.
questions written down.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, but one of our customers is going to cover that right here with this question. James Woods is asking, are you maintaining bottom contact or swimming at a certain depth above the bottom, or are you targeting some kind of range with your swim jig? And if so, you know, my thing was in grass, what do you like to do? And in hard cover, what do you like to do?
So I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. So what I like to do is, hands down, I want to fish my swim jig as close as I can to the bottom. Well, if the grass is clumpy, hey, you got a 2-foot tall clump and then open area, 2 foot. So as you work through that stuff, you know, you're going to use your rod and, you know, slow down and where you don't feel the grass and, hey, you bumped into the grass, slowly pull it through. But I always want it as close as I can to the bottom.
To the cover. Yeah,
Yes,
in the
sir.
bottom. Right. Okay. Yep. Good stuff right
That's
there.
real good stuff.
Yeah. Matt Green says it doesn't work for smallmouth, but I know he's just saying that for Corbin's sake.
Yeah, well, that's because he runs a motor guide and scares them all away. Or the E-Tech. We won't talk about that. That's another story.
Yeah, yeah. So, what, you got any more questions, George?
I do.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we could wrap this up on the Swim Jig package by talking about the Retrieve a little bit because, down in Alabama they got the Alabama Shake,
Mhm. Yes,
you
sir.
know, which we don't do up here.
Nope.
We just cast it out and we kind of reel it in, maybe pop it a little bit through some grass. And down in Alabama, man, I mean, it's like a workout, man. They're
Yeah.
you ever see Randy Howe fish a swim jig? And
Yeah.
you need to take a
Yeah.
nap just from watching him.
Yeah,
So what's your take, as far as your retrieve? Now I know we've talked deep,
Speed. Speed. But
what's your take on that?
I would
Spill
like,
the juice.
I would like to fish it as slow as I can to keep it in the strike zone as long as I can with it still moving. That's the simplest way I could say that.
You're not really popping it a lot.
Okay, so different retrieves for sure. So it might be the same tournament that Mr. George was talking about when we were on the Virginia side, that I got a little clue from the fish that keyed me into the retrieve they wanted. So like George said, a lot of times we just throw it out, we just reel it on
Reel
in.
it in.
And that works, and sometimes it's hard to beat. But I made, it's about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. I had like one fish, and there's a lot of boats in this area. Everybody's doing the same thing. And I make a cast, and as soon as I start to reel, I'm clogged up in the grass. And I pop it. As soon as I popped it, boom, rod bent over. It's a really nice fish. So the rest of the tournament,
you were popping it
I
out.
was popping it.
Yeah.
And I would let it get in the grass, pop.
Yeah.
And I kind of let the fish tell me
you.
that. So, when I'm in an area I know there's fish, I'm going to give them a couple different retrieves. I'm going to let them tell me for sure.
So
That's great.
It goes with this. Ed's asking. So that's how you would fish it in milfoil. That's one of the ways you'd fish it in milfoil is pop it loose like that.
Yep.
Yeah. And when you're like, you got to understand, you're not throwing this in super thick grass.
No.
This is sparse or clumps.
It could be thick, but it has to have water over it.
Right.
Then you're coming over top.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Or it's sparse and broken up.
Yeah. So let's see. We have Russell stopping in there. Russell is saying he can hear you today, Corbin. So you're doing a very good job.
Thanks, Russell.
Russell's a river fisherman up north. How you doing, Russell? Thanks for stopping in. It's good seeing you today, bro.
Yeah, thanks for coming by today, Russell, and you and your crew.
Okay. Let's see if I have any power pole down. Are you power poling down a lot when you're doing that?
Oh yeah, for sure. You get in a little hot section, definitely
Yeah.
power pole down.
You like power pole most of the time, or do you like spot lock?
I would like to power pole 100% if I could. If it's too deep, obviously spot lock.
So you're trying to say that you can't live without power poles.
Cannot live.
Can't live without
And
power
I was
poles.
one of the guys that used to laugh at Bobby Lane in the
Yeah.
Everstarts years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Why does he? You don't need that.
Well, he won that tournament when you were laughing at him.
Yes, and I was like, I need them. So
Remember when he was flipping over there in the check?
Mhm. Yes, sir. So
I mean, that was a tough tournament, and
Tough.
and I was in the check,
yep.
and I watched him. He put his power poles down, and he flipped every freaking square inch around the boat, and about every hour, he set the hook.
Yep.
And he won that tournament.
Mhm.
And I said, well,
Yeah.
the only reason he beat me is he had power poles, so I went out and got to. And then I said, well, the only reason Schmitt beat me is he had a swim jig, so I went out and got 200 of them. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I got power poles and 200 jigs now. I guess I won.
I've always thought about this. What about schooling fish? You always see schooling fish busting and carrying on. Are you picking a swim jig up for that, or you already like have other things that you're using?
Weird story. Gunnersville this year for elite event, I had a spot that they would come up schooling. I found them during the tournament. They would come up schooling, nice fish. Couldn't get them to eat anything. They've seen all the traditional schooling fish baits. Took my swim jig, swam it through there, and they would eat it
Yeah.
big time.
Wow.
And a buddy that might be watching, he fished the event. I clued him in on the bite. So
There
Well-
you go. There you go, George. There's it.
George
There's your answer.
Ashbridge also wanted to know that.
Yep. He's the one. He's the one that prompted that one.
So that was just open water.
open water.
Crazy.
That might have been 60 feet deep.
They hadn't seen that technique,
Profile.
That
Yeah.
profile.
Well, I gotta tell you, Brian, that was very, very informative. There's
I mean-
always small things that people say that you pick up on, and with our guests that we've had, every guest has said something that's like, and there was
Aha moment.
there was a lot of these aha moments tonight so far. With your retrieve, the design of the jig is unbelievable. I love that. I love the design of that jig. I love everything, the reasoning behind it, and the way you did it. But the way you fish it, and the 15-pound line,
Yes,
they're
sir.
aha moments
Yes,
for
sir.
a lot of us guys who we're struggling with it.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough to fish that tournament with you down in the bay, and for us it was a swim jig bite that day.
Yep.
I caught a lot of fish on that day. Didn't catch a lot of big ones. Didn't catch enough of the big ones, but I caught a lot of fish on that swim jig. And now I'm like, I got this confidence. Look out! But I know I'm way late on
Swim
this
jig
already.
animal.
I know I'm way late on this, but that was it. Like I'm in.
Oh, don't
I'm
worry.
all.
Me
I'm
and
all
Mike will
in.
be doing a live on the water with the swim jig, and he'll be like Bryan Schmitt up in the front. Of the
Oh
boat.
yeah.
You have an extra jersey? you
Oh
can
yeah.
wear?
No, man. I'm buying the rod. I'm buying the line. I'm
It's
like
on.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. I am
It's
in
on.
all the way on this.
It's a system.
And-
It's a full system.
And I keep telling
Yeah, it
guys,
is.
Yep.
I keep telling guys, with these types of live shows and and fishing with people, you're always constantly learning. If
That-
you stop learning, you might as
stop.
well just hang it up.
Yes,
I listen to these things. I listen to Mike's Iconelli's show, his live shows, and when he gets into that stuff and listen to these guys. Those aha moments are all the time. That information, and for you breaking this down tonight for us, jeez,
So,
it's going to change my fishing.
the biggest thing is, the amount of time that we all spend on the water and still every day learning a little tiny nugget. Well, if you want to talk about spending time on the water,
Yeah.
this man right
Yeah.
here, not only does he fish the Elite Series
Yeah.
full time, I mean,
What's
first
he-
of all,
Yeah. What's he
the
leaving tomorrow
Elite
for?
Series is like,
Like-
I mean, you're fishing an insane amount of time.
A lot of fishing.
He's also going to throw in a few other
You're leaving tomorrow for a tournament.
Leaving in the
random events,
morning.
right?
Yes, sir.
You're
Yep.
going to go fish a Toyota,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll throw them in here and there.
Yep.
But what I'm getting at is when he's not doing all
Yeah.
that,
On top of all this,
he runs Loosen Up charter boat
Yep.
for Loosen Up charter service. He runs a boat,
out of Deal, Maryland.
his own boat, with his partner out of Deal, Maryland,
Mhm.
Sir.
every day.
Every day.
If I'm not fishing, I'm fishing.
Yeah.
I got a
Every
very understandable wife.
yeah.
My wife has known me for 20 years.
Did
and,
I say every day?
Every day.
Nobody around here watching this show fishes every day. This guy fishes. The only time he's not fishing is when he's driving to go fishing.
It
Yeah.
is. I'm very fortunate. It legitimately is every day. I completely keep the lights on in the house with fish.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's,
and,
that is really cool, man, to live that
It's
way.
awesome.
It-
Yes.
It's
I'm very
such,
fortunate.
Yeah.
it's the only drawing. The only bad thing is, and this is,
Yeah.
honest truth is, it's a lot of time away.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
charter boat, that's a long day. It's 12, 14-hour
Yeah.
days, travelings,
Yeah.
but I'm fortunate to do it. I'm fortunate to have a very understanding wife. She
Yeah.
supports me fully.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we fish. We have
That's super important.
very important.
And that's one thing that me and George talk about all the time is, it keeps your head straight
oh,
when you're fishing. I know people that
you got to have your family behind you.
Yep.
You can't
you
be
gotta
down there-
have that,
You
man.
can't be on the road fishing 3 elite tournaments
No,
in a
sir.
row
If you're
and not have your
yeah.
family.
behind
Behind you.
you.
Big deal.
They don't have to be necessarily physically with you, but knowing that exactly what you're saying gives you peace.
Yep.
and focus, right?
Yep.
And you hear guys that struggle with that, through the season, and they have bad tournaments, and it's a lot of times it's a family issue, it's a family matter, it's missing home, it's whatever it is.
When you show up to fish, you have to be worried about only catching the most bass in that plate.
I could never do it.
Nothing else.
I could never do it.
I mean, I remember way long time ago. I started fishing some of these tournaments like early in the 90s. And I fished with, back then it was pro on pro in the same boat. And I fished with guys that were as good as it gets, but they didn't have that. They were trying to make it.
Yep.
And I applaud them for trying, but as the season wore on, the stresses built up, and I mean, it's not a glamorous lifestyle for the most part. And I can remember some of those early day guys that were trying to get to that next, go from bass, what back then was called the invitationals, to whatever was next, to where you were an established, if you don't have your family behind you, if you don't have 100% of that, it's just not going to happen, and when
that's a great point. Yep.
When you're running loosen up charters and you're fishing every day, I mean, these charter guys,
but that's not enough though.
they're
Loosen
at
up
the
charters
dock.
isn't enough. I mean,
it's dark.
Let's
in the
fish the
morning.
elites too.
Let's do the elites, but let's.
Well, Brian, you also run a guide service.
Yeah, but I want to know about the species that you're doing here down there. So anybody wants to know locally here, you do.
We do it all.
You do it all.
Our big deal is striper or rockfish, and we're trolling, and then all summer long we're live lining, which is a lot of fun.
Yep.
We go catch the live spot, put them in a barrel, use them live. We have bluefish, we have mackerel. Last few years we've been embarking in cobia, which have slowly worked further up the bay every year.
I'm in for that.
And we go do
Corbin
that.
was like, he was like, dude, we got to go down there and be
Corbin's
with
been
him.
wearing us out on the cobia.
He's like, Bryan
that's what I
Schmitt
wanna
is
do,
going to
man.
take us cobia fishing.
It's such an exotic looking fish for the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
It's so cool. They fight so hard.
Yeah.
The meat is
The best.
special. The best.
Wow.
And you might get an occasional red drum mixed in. And there is times where we've hit schools of red drum doing this too. You got to throw all them back. But
Right.
Biggins.
biggins,
Wow.
like breaking your rod big.
Wow.
So we're very blessed. We have a pretty long season, May 1st all the way through December, and
You're out of Deal, Maryland.
out of Deal, Maryland. There is times where we move our location north or south a bit to be closer to the fish for that time of year. But
What's your home marina?
Happy Harbor in
Happy-
Deal, Maryland.
Happy Harbor in
Happy
Deal,
Harbor.
Maryland.
If you're in Deal, if you drive more than a mile, you're probably out of Deal.
Yeah.
But it's all fishing. We got it made there. A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of times we have it made there where the fish are really close. And
Have you lived there all your life?
15 years. yep,
15 years.
yep.
Okay.
Do you have a website for your charter service?
Yes. So
We need you to plug your business.
100%. My father-in-law started this business like 35 years ago, loosen up charters. Go to ChesapeakeFishing.com. So he's been around a long time when he has ChesapeakeFishing.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one might have got took up early.
Yeah, so check him out. Loosen up charters. We have 2 boats running. He just had a brand new boat built. It's a 50-foot state of the art, really nice
Red.
boat.
Wow.
Very fast.
Very
Nobody's
red.
gonna beat you to the fishing place. We do it every day. He's been doing it a very, very long time. We take care of people. It's not always all the fish you could catch. Is having a good time as well.
Yeah,
so.
your reputation in the charter business is stellar.
And you do bass charters down on the Potomac River.
So I've started to dabble with that, mainly March and some of April every year. Fishing's really good that time of year,
Yeah.
so I've been doing.
You got some limited trips there. You can
Limited
book
trips,
also.
Yep.
Good. Absolutely.
So,
What do you think, George?
because of this,
What do you want to go into?
I have
All right, hang on. So this
a
is
couple questions for
this
you.
is something we do all the time. We're going to segue into another section of Tackle
Yeah,
Shop Live.
This is
And this is something we do all the time for our guests.
our guests. Yes.
And
Oh,
I want
boy.
to turn my page here because I want him to see my questions.
Yep.
We call this section 5 questions.
5 questions.
And if the dean is watching,
Yeah.
Mr. Gluzik, you can remember you were the first
Yeah.
victim of 5 questions.
boy.
OG.
Oh, yeah.
He was OG.
So,
Yeah.
Victim.
question number 1. Is it true that you can fillet a boat limiter rock with your eyes closed?
Yes,
I knew it! Because you filleted a few, haven't
I
you?
have. Yes, sir.
All right. That was a trick question. Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
Golly, I would.
I mean, the Chiefs,
I don't want to take too much time.
the Bucks.
I really like Tom Brady, man.
Oh.
And his time is limited. I feel like
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is so good. He's going to be so good for so long.
Yeah.
It would be like this perfect story with Tom doing it, you know. So I'm going to be pulling for the Bucks on that.
Okay. That's a great answer. That's legitimate.
All right.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a coin flip. I mean, I think Vegas has it at like 3 points right now.
Really?
3, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's that say? Not for betting purposes only.
Entertainment
Yeah,
only.
entertainment
purposes
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
So, would
Yeah.
you quit tournament fishing?
Is this question number 3?
Question number 3.
Question number 3.
Or 1A.
Question number 3.
Or 1A.
Question number 3.
All right.
Would you quit tournament fishing if swim jigs were banned?
Yes.
He gone.
Sell him
He
up.
gone.
Great.
He gone.
Great question.
He gone.
And better yet, great answer.
Okay. Now this is a little more serious. What is your favorite weather condition on tournament day for a swim jig bite? You wake up in the morning, you get your coffee.
I
He's
wake
like,
up in
it's
the
going
morning,
down today, boys.
It's humid.
Oh.
Humid and a little bit of cloud cover.
Oh.
Mm.
Mm.
Get your
Okay.
jiggy on.
Number 5.
But the last question, number 5, the big one.
That big V8 Merc on the back of your Ranger, is that the baddest beast that was ever bolted on the back of a Ranger?
100%.
That thing's mean, isn't it?
It's unreal, and nobody's had any problems. It's a special motor.
Hammer down, Bobby.
Hammer down.
What was that,
Okay.
a Merc, what? V8?
The Merc
250.
50.
Pro XS.
You start them
4
things
stroke.
up, it's like, that's the
I
greatest
mean,
sound
they
in the world.
sound good.
Quiet.
The torque,
I wanna-
the whole shot.
wanna
I mean,
get
I'm
that
a
for my
Yamaha man
ringtone.
myself, but you know, my next Yamaha might be black.
Whoa, whoa.
I'm
What's
just saying.
taking so long?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No,
Yeah.
it's a very, very good motor.
I'm impressed with that, and I really wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah. Awesome.
So listen,
Uh,
Bryan Schmitt survived 5 questions, and he did it gracefully.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly,
Yeah. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
any more questions on here. We have a couple kind of like general questions, but Rick McFowl, your buddy, he would like to know how has the change in the Potomac River grass types changed Bryan's swim jig approach? There's not much milfoil anymore.
That's a good question. So, you know, Rick has been around a long time, and he remembers
Yeah.
the lush, thick milfoil beds. And for years, you know, if you didn't frog and flip,
Yeah.
you know, really flip hard too, like you didn't have a chance. And it changed when that milfoil really, you know, started to diminish.
What's a lot of it down there now? Eelgrass and
hydrilla, eelgrass, and there's this weird river grass.
Okay,
I
yeah.
mean, it's everywhere. And this year, actually, the hydrilla was the thickest and furthest out that I've ever seen in my life. It was a lot of it, but it's just not growing north. So anyway,
it was so dry.
so dry. It helped me when it changed, because I used to frog. You know, that's all I wanted to do, frog and flip. Well, frogging, you need so many different variables to align. So I wanted to figure out a technique that it could be a little windy, it could be sunny, it could be cloudy, and you could still catch them. And frogging, you can't always do that. So when it changed to the hydrilla and the sloping grass beds and the sparseness that it is now, it really helped for the swim jig, for sure.
That
But
makes
where-
sense.
But where Rick's probably going with, you know, right now, it's changing right now. We're learning about these new grasses, and there's some places that the fish are in it, but it's not conducive for swim jigging. You know,
Mhm.
we're relearning it again for
Yeah.
sure.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, you know, if we get lucky,
Joey Warner stopping in. He's saying Hollywood approved.
Hollywood approved.
Joey's been a long time listener, and thanks for stopping by, Joey. Thanks everybody for stopping by tonight. And if you would just hit your share button and your like button here tonight, and keep us spreading the word, and we appreciate that from everybody. Caitlin, thank you tonight for putting up the links. We appreciate that very much, and we also thank Rick Neighbor for getting us out of that bind tonight. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that.
yeah, we had some buttons that were all
yeah,
uncollected.
Yeah. So we got some other stuff to talk about. We're not
Yeah,
done yet.
so,
we are not done to that.
No.
Do not go anywhere.
I got a couple quick business items here.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got my kit of the week. Every time I do a show,
Absolutely. Everybody
do a kit.
everybody that's dropping off, you're missing
the
You're
kit.
missing the deal tonight. And
So
we like to have a deal every week.
yeah, we're going to do the little Schmitty kit this week. So we're going
Sold.
to do 5 little Schmitty jigs, swim jigs from Hayabusa, 1 in each color. We're going to mix it up between 3/8 and half. You're going to get all 5 colors, but you're not going to get all of them, and you're only getting 5 jigs.
Yeah.
We're going to put them in a box for you, either a Plano or a Gamakatsu, plastic, storage box, little guy, not a big one. And we're going to give you a price of $39.45. Not a discount on the jigs. We can't do that. They're set. The price is set on those. We're going to throw that box in, and we're going to do a $4 flat ship. So the little Schmitty kit, we're going to ask you on this to phone this order in. Tonight, after the show, we're going to be here for about a half an hour. And then tomorrow, I would say probably till about 1:30.
It's going to be pretty quick because we don't have a lot of the boxes. So
I mean, we can only do like 30 kits or so.
yeah, this is just for the guys that are staying on here.
We can do, we could probably do like 30 kits or so. So
Yep.
give us a call tonight for about a half an hour. Give us a call tomorrow up to about 1:30.
Yep.
The kits will ship as soon as the jigs gets here, obviously, which
Absolutely.
is probably going to be Monday. So
Yep.
that's going to be our kit. And then we also have our world famous In the Pipeline segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, give us some In the Pipeline business.
Yeah. So we're moving on to
Yeah.
what's coming up here in the shop, what's coming down the road, what's hot, and what's not.
Yeah, this is going to be quick because, we're running a little long, and we want to talk to Bryan some more. But, we've been getting some epic shipments of tackle in here for the last couple weeks.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking a tractor trailer dropping off a skid or 2 a day.
Yeah.
So a couple of the hot items that are in the pipeline that old Matt's building web pages for right now
Yep.
is the brand new Shimano Ultegra spinning reel.
Gosh, I saw that this
Oh
morning,
my
man.
gosh.
Yeah, you need
see
to
that
go
video
to
on
the
that thing?
Shimano video
Yeah.
that JP DeRoos did
Yep.
Yeah.
and watch the Ultegra segment.
It's really something.
And then you might want to call me up because I'm going to run out quick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
CI4 body.
The other thing that's in the shop here is the Mega Pass P3 Destroyer rods.
Yep.
And Matt's working on those web pages right now. They
We're loaded
just
up with
came
them.
in. They just came in. We just unpacked them.
Giant
There's
load of those.
a bunch of them.
Yep.
These are some high-end, awesome. This is some awesome stuff. You're probably going to have to call and ask some questions because they got some weird names.
They do have some strange names.
And then the third thing I want to highlight, these are just 3 things that kind of came to me as like things I wanted to highlight. The third thing is the Shimano SLX glass crankbait rods.
Ooh, you get some?
Whoa.
Yeah, last year they did an Intenza glass rod, and it turned out to be a hammer. This year they're doing an SLX glass, and
Yep.
it's not a composite; it's glass.
Is it here?
Glass cranking. Oh, it's up in the house.
Oh, it's in the hizzy.
Glass cranking is becoming a big deal again. Everything old's new again, and the SLX glass is going to be worthy of your viewage.
Mhm.
Matt's working on those 3 items right now. He's building web pages, so keep an eye on the site. If you can't wait, give us a holler.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions on the awesome presentation that Bryan came up here to do, feel free to give us a call or send us an email, and we'll do our best to answer for
Yep.
you.
So
Mike,
let's break.
what else do you have for Bryan?
Well, I just want to break it down one
before
more
we
time.
let him drive back,
I just
home
want
to
to
Deal,
break it down
Maryland.
one more time.
way
he-
down yonder on
he's
the
got-
eastern shore.
Well, he's got 2
Let's go to
rods here
Florida.
rigged up for tournament in Florida, which he's leaving for tomorrow morning. So I don't want to keep him here too long because I told him he has a 2-hour drive home.
And
mean-
then a 17-hour drive to Florida.
And then he's got to get up early and drive to Florida. So, but I would like to know what you got going on right there. What is that? What's that rig right there? Tell us the model of the rod again. Go over those 2 jigs that you're going to throw and why, and let's just do one more quick little rundown
this
on
is
that.
Tackle Junkie.
I was just
This is a Tackle Junkie fix.
yeah.
Fitzgerald Fishing, Stunner Reel, 7-to-1.
Yep.
Fitzgerald Fishing, Bryan Schmitt Swim Jig, Signature Series rods, 7-foot 1 inch.
Yeah.
Designed for swim jigging. Hayabusa, Little Schmitty, Bryan Schmitt Swim Jig.
That is
Okay.
a pretty setup right there. What is on the back of that thing?
That right there is the Missile Baits Shockwave in shrapnel color.
Shrapnel.
That's a bad dude. So
I mean-
on the Hayabusa,
That's as pretty as a prize-winning pig.
That
deal-
jig is awesome with that combination.
I guarantee you this is going to catch them in
Oh,
Florida.
yeah.
Like, I can promise you.
Do you trim that wheat guard?
No, sir.
You-
Don't touch it.
Okay, so that's important because
That's a good question,
When-
too, because that is important.
when Bryan walked in, and somebody asked this, and I'm sorry, whoever it was, somebody asked it, and I was going to get to it anyway. But when you came in and you showed me that jig, and then you said, no, we made that wheat guard a certain way
Correct.
for
We-
perfect.
It do not touch it. It's ready to
Yep.
go.
Yep.
It-
So that's the big thing right there. Out of the package, Bryan.
We designed this jig so you do not have to do anything. We thought of every little
Yeah.
detail. Tie it on and go.
It's the
Like,
real. Yeah, it's the real
legitimately.
deal.
You know, this is a black and blue with the Bruiser twin turbo, 15-pound P-line fluorocarbon, both rods. Getting ready to go to Florida. So believe me, I do use the fluorocarbon. 15 is plenty.
People,
What's your first lake down there that you're fishing?
Probably going to start in Toho.
And you have a Everstar tournament? I mean, a
Yep.
Toyota Series
Yes,
tournament
sir.
there?
Yep.
Is that on Toho?
It's out of Toho. We could go to Kissimmee, Cypress. There's a few lakes. You know, go down there and get in the Florida vibe. My Elite Series starts right after that on the St. John's. Will not touch these 2 rods going there. Like, legitimately, I have 2 or 3 swim jigs every event ready to go. I mean,
yeah.
it's a confidence deal for me.
Yeah,
I know.
because you have to have them rigged up 3/8 and half.
Yes, sir.
You can't just, I mean, you just got to pick one up and go.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff. The aha moment, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't get it, is 15-pound fluorocarbon
Yeah.
Yep.
for everything. If you
Yeah.
didn't get it, that is the aha moment that I'm
And 7.
trying to wrap my head around it.
7
I really am.
rod, 7-1
You breaking
reel.
fish off or not?
Never.
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 You-
6s, 7s.
Boat flipping them things
Where's some
whenever.
wood?
That's
Yeah.
wood.
Okay.
That's real wood.
Maybe I shouldn't ask that question.
Legitimately.
I don't want to hear
Mike,
it, dude.
Did you ever watch a football game where
I
the kicker
don't-
gets ready to hit
Yeah.
the uprights and the announcer goes, well, now.
Oh, Justin Tucker's made
Justin Tucker,
47 in a row
he
and
hadn't missed a
hasn't missed
field
them
goal
forever.
since his mama was 25. and all of a
Donk.
sudden, donk.
So you know you have 15. If a 5 or 6 pounder bites you and takes you into that because you're not going to pull with
Yeah.
all your might like it's braid. You got to go
Go
get
to
'em. Got to go to 'em.
Patience,
Yes, sir.
but you're going to get more bites because of it.
100%.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I bet.
this might sound stupid to you,
No,
but
I
I
get it.
think pressured fish can hear the vibration off the braid as it's coming through your guides.
Well, I don't know if you know Travis Manson.
Yes, sir.
Well, he was telling us about drop shotting. 5-pound test braid for them big smallies up north.
I believe it. He knows his stuff with
Yeah.
the smallmouth.
Yeah.
It's
That was an aha moment for me there on that.
any way you can do better. You know, any technique has a little specialty, you know, so
Yeah.
I built the jig to not need braid.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all there. You don't horse them. You don't set the hook hard. The whole setup's there.
Yeah. Corbin, you got any questions? You got anything hot?
I've been asking them all day, brother.
Yeah. I mean, you got any more? Got anything else?
I can think of one or two.
Let me tell you something. What do you think about this jig deal tonight?
Oh, I'm getting them.
Did you?
I mean, I'm
I'm
thinking.
not talking about the jig, but I'm talking about
well,
the stuff,
well, I
the
mean,
juice,
I
boy.
told Brian I want a cobia trip.
the juice.
So cobia trip, swim jig, the juice.
Corbin,
I'm in.
Corbin wants to go
I'm
cobia
in.
fishing. I'm
Is
sorry.
that your
in.
Christmas list this year?
It's done.
Oh
Consider it done.
no. There's one less cobia trip on the map.
All right, Mike. So I have a giveaway this week.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Should I go get the basket like tradition, George?
Now,
Yeah.
this giveaway is going to be only for people who go over to our YouTube page
Yep.
and like it and share it.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go into all the people that did that
Yeah.
next Thursday.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick one out.
Yeah. Which we did on the last one, but we haven't yet been able to contact him yet. So we're working
Yeah.
on that.
Well, I mean, it's all going to get there.
Yeah. It's all getting there.
But this one here, okay?
Yeah.
We are, Corbin and you and I and Brian,
Yeah.
we're going to do a 5-pack
Oh.
of the little Schmitty
Little
in a
Schmitties.
Plano box.
In a Plano
The
box.
same special that we're rolling
Dang.
on the kit special, and we're going to give that away.
Wow.
So
Dang.
that's a $39.45 value
Yep.
that we would like to give to you because you follow us, you like us, you watch our shows, and we are very humbled by it.
Yeah.
George, we may be able to get Brian to sign that box too today while he's here.
We'll
give him to autograph
That's
it.
a great idea. We'll
Great
have
idea.
My pleasure.
We'll have Brian to
Yeah,
autograph the box, and so you're going to get autographed.
Beautiful.
And we're going to put the little Schmitties in there,
Beautiful.
and we thank you all for being here, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
three of us would like to thank
Yep.
you for driving
Yep.
2.5 hours up here,
Yep.
My pleasure.
and you got to get up early tomorrow and go to Florida.
No problem.
And
Yeah.
your sponsors asked, and this was the only time slot you had, knowing you had. We are humbled by that.
I mean, you're leaving tomorrow
very
morning. That's
appreciative.
a tough one. Leaving tomorrow
And-
morning.
And I'd like to come down to Florida with you for pre-fishing.
Okay.
Please
Let's
call
do it.
us up.
Just
Please
ride
call
with
us
me
up.
now, George. Let's go.
Brian, anything else you'd like to say? I mean,
Guys, I really appreciate the opportunity. Just trust me, guys that are listening. This is a technique that works. You're going to fall in love with it. Give it a try. Give the whole system a try. You got to buy into the system, and you'll understand. And thank you once again for tuning in.
absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate everything there. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in to the shop again. Thank you for watching. Please go to our website or our Facebook page or YouTube page. Get on board with that. Instagram's taking off. Get on our Instagram page. Check that out. Like, love. Appreciate everything. We're staying on Saturdays for our show, George.
Yeah, I get that. Or are we going this Saturday?
Oh, yeah. We'll see you Saturday.
Can't
This
Up
Saturday.
in the hizzy!
No rest for the weary. Thanks for stopping by.